I have set every Wonderkid with a potential of 160 or above for their maximum, whatever the age is, as their current ability. Meaning we have some incredible world-class 16 or 17-year-olds on the game at very average sides. Now this is the only thing that I have changed. If you want to see this exact experiment but maybe with a transfer ban, so every single player in the world is stuck at their club, then let me know down in the comments and smash that like button. That is definitely something we can do for a future video. However, I'm very intrigued to see where a lot of these players go. Players such as Yusufa Makuku, as you can see on my screen right now, 15 years of age and set to his maximum of 200 as his current ability. Just like Camovinga that you've seen in the intro, these are the two highest rated players in the game, starting off with a current ability of 200. But let's have a brief look at this database before we actually go through and simulate any years. If I set the range on the player search to 15 to 21, this is what comes up. Now, of course, we have Kylian Mbappe, who would also be set to his maximum, being that he's 21. He still has a little bit to grow. Erling Haaland here is set at his maximum. This man, I can't say I've ever heard of, but he is there for Real Sociedad, valued at £56 million. And the list goes on throughout. We can see some big names here who have massive potentials in the game already now set, so we could see some really big moves very early on in their careers. Now what we are looking to see is what players make huge transfers. Are there specific clubs who benefit from this? Are there specific countries that may benefit from this? That's also quite interesting as well, and how international teams will favour in international competitions such as the World Cup or the Euros. But first off, we're only going to simulate one full season and see how everybody starts feeling and who's really making early moves. I also want you to let me know down in the comments what club you actually think and maybe what country you actually think will benefit if this actually happened in real life. What players who have massive potentials would be pumped up to their maximum do you think would benefit club and country? Let me know down in the comments. No big surprises across league positions other than Valencia finishing above Barcelona, surprisingly, despite Barca having all of their incredible Wonderkids being involved across the season. Champions League was won by Juventus, who definitely made the most of the increased abilities of their own players. De Ligt, Fagioli, Barrenechea and Kulusevski, and signing Ezequiel Barco and Matthias Arezzo. Manchester United ironically won the Europa League using a couple of youngsters such as Amad Diallo, Ethan Galbraith and signing Yerson Mosquera for £2 million, all benefiting from being set to their maximum ability. So let's take a look at some transfers. We can see here on the 2020, so this would have been the summer transfer window only, some of the Wonderkid names that we recognise have moved clubs already. Thiago Almeida here, moving for around about £8.5 million to Tottenham Hotspur. We also have a little bit further down Elias Akamak. We know about his £5.5 million release clause. He moves to Athletic Bilbao. They took advantage of that because they also managed to sign Alcaron. Obviously, Bilbao only allowed to sign Basque players, making the most out of those two having very cheap minimum fee release clauses. Two defenders who are very good on this game, Andrea Papetti and Anel Ahmedhodzic, both moving for very small prices as well. AC Milan buying Papetti for £5 million and Manchester City buying Anel Ahmedhodzic, probably got that wrong, for around about £5.7 million as well, and he is very good indeed. And of course Papetti, one of my favourite Wonderkid defenders on this game, at 18 years of age is just this good. AC Milan, massive signing for them. But as we move to the year 2021, this will be just pretty much the January transfer window because the transfer window is not open yet. Some more big names moving from Wonderkids. Caligari, our favourite right back, has moved to Manchester City. They have made a few really good signings already. £21 million after losing John Stones, funny enough. Juve, this is where they signed Ezequiel Barco for 17 million, around about 25 in total. Sandri moving to Inter Milan. Sandri's an exceptionally good player. player, as we can see here. And other names, Adam Hlozek, Jacob Kaminski, all of these Wonderkids moving to big European sides. Kyle George, even Kyle George has moved again to Manchester City. They are making massive signings to secure a very good financial future, because if they don't ever buy any more players, these guys are good for a good like 10-15 years, or they sell these players for huge profits. So with no personal awards being given out for 2020, Robert Lewandowski was robbed, by the way, of the Ballon d'Or. Let's just face facts. We're going to move and simulate on another 5 years, so 6 years into the future, and see exactly who's moved where and what has changed in those 6 years. The Premier League has been dominated by Manchester clubs, with Manchester United most recent success. And the player stats completely dominated by Wonderkids, which is incredible to see. La Liga has Barcelona winning the last 3 times after purchasing Erling Haaland for £104 million in 2022. The Serie A has Juve and Inter trading titles, as well as Dortmund and Bayern in the Bundesliga. Let's not talk about the French league though, with a PSG team that has both Moukoko and Camovinga, who, remember rightly, are both set to 200 current ability. The Champions League has been won by Liverpool, and in recent years, Juve, Barcelona and Dortmund all picking up wins too, Liverpool even beating Manchester United at Wembley in 2024. And the Europa League was lifted by Bayern Munich, but again had a lot of English clubs, with Arsenal picking up 2 and Tottenham getting their first trophy in a very long time. We roll back a few years to the 2022 World Cup, where England's 56 years of hurt came to an end against the Netherlands in the final. But somehow Turkey have won the Euros in 2024, beating Portugal in the final on penalties after Belgium won in 2021. But of course, you want to know where some of the best players in the world have ended up, so let's take a look at the player search. So as we can see here, this is a player search of ages 22 to 27, roughly where the Wonderkids would be round about now. And a lot of them are being held by PSG. I make it sound like they're being held against their will. Obviously, they're doing quite well here. Mbappe, Camovinga, Giovanni Reina, Rodrigo, Youssef Demirs, to name a few. A few of the English teams here getting some players lower down. And if you think about, like, yeah, this is lower down, it's not until you go down to the bottom of the table here, that's £79 million that this is worth, you really get an understanding of how crazy this database is, because every single one of these players are world-class players now. As we scroll down, we can see even more players, and the valuations just aren't going down. That's just how good they really are. And a lot of these English clubs now are popping up more and more. We can see the Chelsea boys in there, a lot of Manchester United players popping up, Barcelona, and a few Real Madrid players as well. It's an absolutely crazy world with this in. Southampton here has Brenner, £72 million, who was the Premier League top scorer, a phenomenal player that I really like, and gutted that he moved to Cincinnati in the real life, so that obviously we can't sign him. Scrolling down though, still in the £70 million, you go on for a very long time before you stop seeing Wonderkids. It's just remarkable. Even at some point, we can see our Syrian friend Mahmoud Al Aswad playing for PSG. I mean, £75 million, the 22-year-old. Yes, he is set to his maximum, but still, how is he at PSG? He doesn't get many games at all. They bought him for £6 million as well. So that Syrian team is now completely rich, and he has barely played a game for them every single season. It's very sad. And I was just scrolling down, and I've seen a few players that I don't recognize. Is this, Parfait Guagun? I've never seen this guy before. Obviously, some of these players are going to be quite new. You might have heard of them before in the Israeli league. This man here, Dennis Lutke Free, German player from Dortmund. Never heard of him whatsoever, but he has been set to his maximum. And there was another one, Yad Locru Po. He's a French player playing for Lyon. He starts off at Lyon as well. Phenomenal player, an elite striker when he's set to his maximum. A lot of 16s there in his technicals. Can play across the front three. I've never heard of him. Maybe check him out on your game, because if he is anywhere near his maximum potential, could be looking at a solid player. So we can see here, most of the time he's getting himself into double figures for the goals for Lyon. So let's take a look at some more of these transfers then. In 2021, after we last left, Eduardo Camovinga first moved to Arsenal before moving to PSG, whilst PSG was picking up Yunus Musa, the USA international, who is absolutely phenomenal as well. Now finds himself at Chelsea. Maybe will see that signing at some point as well. But let's flick forward a couple of years, and how many of these fees are in or above £100 million? The biggest one here, Vinicius Jr. Well, both, to be honest, Rodrigo and Vinicius, Real Madrid losing both of their Brazilian left-sided forwards to PSG and to Manchester City. Manchester City spending a lot of money there. Florian Wirtz, funny enough, doing exactly the same thing as Kai Havertz in real life. The German sort of cam / centre midfielder, very similar as well to Kai Havertz. And Boadu, one of like the most famous striker Wonderkids in the last couple of years, just because he is so pacey and lethal, find himself at Manchester United. Let's move forward, 2023. The big one there, nowhere near as high as what last year's one, but the only big one above £50 million. Oh no, to be fair, there's a few on 79 million. But for 116 million, Antony moved to Manchester United, now is finding himself at Real Madrid, who bought Fabio Silva back in 2023. João Felix moving to Barcelona, Josko Gvardiol going to PSG. You just see every year PSG picking off one or two of these players. Southampton spending a lot of money. One of my favourite Wonderkids, who I haven't really talked about much, Fabio Vieira, who I think just looks unbelievable when he's set to his maximum, has moved here to Chelsea. 2024 then, this is when Camovinga moved to PSG, £117 million. Leonidas Sturgiu, who is a Swiss centre-back and a very good one indeed, finds himself at Manchester United. He moved to Tottenham to begin with, but £102 million. Eddie Nketiah, Manchester City picking up the English striker there, very pacey hitman. And a few other names we can see here. PSG picking up Szoboszlai, incredible player. Papetti moving to Barcelona, one of the best defenders on the game. Arsenal there picking up a lot of players there in that small that's like two fullbacks there. Kyle Walker-Peters, who I don't think is classed as a Wonderkid, he's just in that anyway. But Tariq Lamptey, he's fast, he's not very good, and Arsenal spent a lot of money on him, £52 million. That's insane. Let's have a look at the last couple of years then. 2025, Manchester United picking up Kulusevski. That's where they lost Antony, so they replaced Antony with Kulusevski, and this was the biggest year yet. We go all the way down here to £100 million, which was a Jude Bellingham transfer to Liverpool, and we have Musa, Demir, Jamal Musiala, João Pedro, Giovanni Reina, Anthony Kulusevski. That is all 180 plus potential ranges, or moving when they're set to their current ability. And look at the names that are just flopping around here. Dortmund losing out because both German clubs losing potentially their best players, and they're moving to names like Manchester United, like Real Madrid, like PSG and Chelsea and Liverpool, all benefiting from this current ability boost. Let's take a look at the Ballon d'Or then, and we can see from 2021 Harry Kane won it, but after that it was Wonderkid City, Kulusevski, Haaland, Yusuf Moukoko, Pedri, here, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland in second and third. Kulusevski again winning it for the second time. I mean, look how good he is set to his maximum. Kylian Mbappe winning the most recent one with Camovinga second and Pedri finishing in third. Okay, so let's sim a few more seasons. I think we're going to go a full 13 seasons into the future. So that will take us to 2033, meaning that majority of the Wonderkids will be in their very early 30s. A couple of them, like Moukoko, won't even make that yet. They'll be roughly around about 29. So let's go to that. Complete dominance by Manchester United the last 6 seasons, City dropping down to 5th place and Chelsea down to 9th. La Liga has been shared a lot more between the big three, and Real Sporting enjoying a great season there in 4th place. Haaland though still dominating at the age of 32. The Serie A won by Juve for a long time, but both Milan sides earning some recent success. PSG continue to win every single year. They still have Moukoko, but their second 200 current ability player Camovinga is no longer here. Lots of different clubs, including Tottenham twice, have won the Champions League, and a different winner every year in the Europa League, with Manchester City being the most recent. International football then, and after 2 straight World Cup wins for England, the second against the Republic of Ireland in the final, the USA have won their first ever World Cup. What has happened? Has Zealand kind of like edited this database or something? The Euros this time a bit more normal, with Germany and England the last 2 winners. Okay, let's take a look then at player search. 27 years of age to 33 is roughly where they will be sitting right now. We can still see a very high valued number of players here. Ansu Fati, 30 years of age, 97 million, finds himself at PSG. PSG with the front three there. Manchester United still got Musiala, of course. Very good legendary striker now. Pedri, we still haven't seen him. There he is, Eduardo Camovinga, the second 200 current ability player. Finds himself at Real Madrid, £117 million in 28-29. So let's have a look at some of these transfers then. In 2026, Francisco Trincao moved to Liverpool for £120 million. That's amazing. We are going to see now a lot of these regens and new gens come through, but there will still be recognisable names. Ansu Fati moving from Barca to PSG, 119 million. Yeremy Pino moving from Liverpool to Barcelona as his replacement, I guess. Bella Kotchap from Leipzig to Real Madrid there as well in 2027. 28 is where Camavinga moved to Real Madrid. That was the highest record signing. 116 million was Arezzo to Manchester City. And Devin Wrench, a right back, moving to Liverpool for £111 million. He is not that good. Liverpool spending £111 million on him. Ryan Cherky, Jude Bellingham moving to Real Madrid there. Massive future. And Brenner, who we highlighted for Southampton, moving to Juve for £82 million in total. That's a bit of a mouthful. I'm going to check that name. It is a regen. By the way, I've got a regen face pack from Chilled Moose, in case anybody asks. And the skin is called FM Renzi. I know somebody is going to ask. 2029, we can see a few more names here. João Pedro there. Ryan Gravenberch moving to Juve. Sandri again. Christian Mosquera, who's a really good centre-back, finds himself now at Barcelona at the age of 28. There's a guy here, 159. I think he is a regen. He is. He's one of the legendary attacking midfielders, but that is a lot of money, 159 million. Peglo, who I think Southampton must have signed after they... Yeah, so they signed him after they sold Brenner for 13 million. He starts scoring more goals, then they profit £71 million to Inter Milan. They have done so well there, Southampton, buying some really good strikers from Brazil and selling them on for huge profits. Florian Wirtz then moves to Barcelona in a very expensive season for them. Hold on, I seen one name there that I recognise. Leeds United selling to Arsenal Kaiki, who I think is the guy Manchester City have signed this season, who has come into their club, who is supposed to be like the next Brazilian Wonderkid, who's going to be a big name in the future. We'll see. There he is, moving to Arsenal. 2032, we are running out of big names here. There's Brian Oddie, I think, moving from Manchester United. Ryan Cherky moving to Manchester City. And finally, 2033, only including the January transfer window. We can't see any other names. Maybe a Luis Carbonell being the biggest transfer, moving from Everton to Lille. One final thing then, let's take a look at the Ballon d'Or, and it has been won completely by Wonderkids. No regens in sight, thankfully. Kylian Mbappe went on a bit of a rampage here. He has won a lot. That's 5 in the last 10 years there. Fabio Silva picking up one when he was at Real Madrid. Erling Haaland picking up another one at Barcelona, or his first even at Barcelona. That's when Kylian Mbappe came back in with Makuku. And finally, Jude Bellingham. Wow, I really hope this happens in real life, to be honest. I think Jude Bellingham could be exceptional in the future, and a lot of England's hopes could be pinned on this young man's shoulders at Real Madrid, 29 years of age, winning the Ballon d'Or for Real Madrid. So there we have it then. If there's any other types of experiments kind of like this that you want to see in the future, let me know down in the comments. Massive thank you to all the support recently. Keep continuing by doing that, smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel and everything like that. I'll see you very soon in the future for another one. Bye bye.